So what if I told you the secret to success isn't about outcompeting your rivals, but about making them completely irrelevant? Today, we're going to chart a course away from those bloody, competitive waters and sail right into wide open blue oceans. These are uncontested market spaces that are just waiting to be created.
So, does this whole scene feel a little familiar? You know that feeling, right? Fighting for every single customer, constantly looking over your shoulder at what your rivals are doing, and they're offering basically the exact same thing. It feels like you're just treading water in this exhausting sea of sameness.
Okay, but what if the real way out isn't about fighting harder, but about playing a totally different game? This is the big idea we're going to unpack today. It's a fundamental shift in how you think about strategy, moving away from conquering and toward creating. All right, so let's get into this. First up, we need to talk about the red ocean trap. Just think of it as a metaphor for pretty much every industry that already exists. And why red? Well, because the waters are bloody from all the sharks, the companies, fighting over the exact same limited pool of customers. You see, in a red ocean, everybody already knows the rules of the game. The boundaries are totally set, the game is established. And really, the only goal is to one-up your rivals so you can grab a slightly bigger slice of a pie that isn't getting any bigger. And what happens? Well, it's pretty much a race to the bottom, right? Profits start to shrink because everyone's battling over price. Your products basically become commodities. You can't even tell them apart anymore. It becomes this zero-sum game where for you to win, someone else has to lose. Sound familiar?
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, so if the red ocean is the trap, how in the world do you get out? Well, the very first step is realizing you might be fighting blind. Most companies are just so focused on the day-to-day battle that they completely lose sight of the bigger map. And honestly, that's the whole key right there. You just can't chart a new course if you don't even have a map of where you are right now. You absolutely have to see the competitive landscape clearly before you can even begin to think about changing it.
This is where we go from just talking about it to actually doing something. The key to breaking out of that red ocean isn't some big mystery. It's a systematic process. And it all starts with drawing a clear, really honest picture of your market.
And the main tool we're going to use to draw that map, it's called the strategy canvas. It's kind of part diagnostic tool, part action plan, and it is honestly one of the most powerful and yet simplest strategic tools you will ever come across.
The easiest way to think about it is like a snapshot. It just captures the current state of play in the market as we know it, and it lets you really understand what customers are getting from all the different options out there right now.
And actually building one is pretty straightforward. First, you just identify the key factors your industry actually competes on. Things like price, service, speed, quality. Then, second, you plot out how high or low the existing players score on each of those things. And finally, you just connect the dots for each company, and that creates what's called a value curve.
Because once you've got this map laid out in front of you, the path to your blue ocean, that clear, uncontested market space, it really starts to reveal itself. Let's look at a quick example to see what I mean. All right, let's make this real with a super simple canvas for the airline industry. You can see the factors they all compete on, right? Price, lounges, meals. Budget airlines, they go all in on price savings but low on amenities. Premium airlines, they do the exact opposite. But notice something? They're all playing on the exact same field, just at different ends of it. Now, if you were to actually plot the strategies of every major airline, their value curves would look, well, a lot like this. It'd be this tangled mess of lines, but they'd all be following the same basic up and down pattern. This, right here, this visual mess, is the clearest sign of a red ocean. Everyone is just a slight variation of the same old theme. And this right here is the big aha moment. This is the fundamental shift in thinking. Blue ocean strategy is not about fighting harder. It's about making the competition not even matter. It's not about getting a bigger slice of the pie. It's about baking a completely new one. You stop being the shark in bloody waters and you become the dolphin, leaping into this clear, open ocean that is all yours.
And that is the prize we're after. Blue oceans represent all that untapped market space, all the demand that isn't being met right now. It's about creating this huge leap in value for your buyers, which opens up brand new territory and basically makes what your rivals are offering obsolete.
Okay, so what does all this really mean for you? How do you actually use this stuff? We have the framework, but what's the next move?
Look, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. The lines that define your industry, they are not set in stone.
They were drawn by other people, and they can absolutely be redrawn by you. The structure of a market is not a given, it's a choice.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Take a look at your own industry's strategy canvas. What factors can you just eliminate or reduce? What new things can you raise or even create from scratch to draw a completely new value curve and find your very own blue ocean?